Hi, good morning, guys. Now we're going to mom's house, my mother-in-law house. They are in Easton. And I'm Tess. This is Amor, my husband.
Her kalokohan husband. Her husband, puro kalokohan.
We're gonna show you like the way going to mom's house in Easton, Maryland. And then we're gonna show you guys the Chesapeake Bridge.
The Chesapeake Bay Bridge.
Yeah, the Chesapeake Bay Bridge. It's located in between Annapolis, Western Shore,
Yeah.
and Eastern Shore, which is the Easton is there. Mom is living there.
Grabing traffic.
Yeah, maraming traffic. No, it's heavy traffic. Not marami. Oh gosh. There's already a traffic.
Because of course we are so-called nerds and don't apologize for it. Scott Simon brings in an expert to help us get to the bottom of it in 20 minutes. Keep listening to WAMU. Texas House Democrats did not return to Austin to meet the Republican-imposed deadline, denied the legislature a quorum yesterday. The fight over off-year redistricting continues to expand to other states as well. Keep listening for updates on this evolving story through the weekend on WAMU.
On last week's Wait, Luke Burbank celebrated the return of the presidential fitness tests.
I assumed that right after I did the shuttle run at Daniel Bagley Elementary School in Seattle, the results were immediately airlifted to President Ronald Reagan.
Yeah, I love this
I'm
one.
Tom Papa and for Peter Sagal. We're joined by the fantastic...
There is an apple cider here.
That's this week on Wait, Don't Tell Me from NPR.
Listen this morning at 11 on WAMU.
Wow, the sunlight is nice.
Comes from our members and from the Good Feet store. Good Feet arch supports are immediately available and are designed to relieve pain with no shots, no surgery, and no medication. Test walk and fittings are available today at goodfeet.com. And from Levine Music, a new school year of musical discovery is beginning at Levine's campuses in D.C., Maryland, and Virginia. More information on music lessons and classes for all ages at levinemusic.org. And from the University of Maryland Smith School of Business, Flex and online MBAs let students build skills online or in person at one of 3 campuses. More at go.umd.edu/professional.
Support for NPR comes from the station and from Progressive Insurance with its Name Your Price tool, a way to see coverage options based on a driver's budget. Learn more at progressive.com or 1-800-PROGRESSIVE. Price and coverage match limited by state law. And from the John D. and Catherine T. MacArthur Foundation, supporting creative people and effective institutions committed to building a more just, verdant, and peaceful world. More information is at macfound.org. This is NPR.
This is Weekend Edition from NPR News. I'm Scott Simon. Fire terrorists took effect this week on goods from dozens of countries.
Got a little break on gas prices, which helps keep the overall inflation rate in check. But if you strip out energy and food prices, which bounce around a lot, core inflation looks to be moving in the wrong direction. Forecasters think it was up around 3% in July, and that's before this new round of tariffs even kicked in. You know, tariffs are starting to push up prices. They're also pushing up anxiety because people don't know where all this is going to end. Trump is already threatening to impose more tariffs that would double the price of imported computer chips. Rafael Bostic, who heads the Atlanta Federal Reserve Bank, says nobody could really relax when the tariffs keep ratcheting.
I think I have to buy a tripod na lang. No. A self-esteem pod.
I have one. I'll show you when you come back.
Well, this is kind of the flip side of that. You know, it's on the front page every day. A survey from the New York Fed.
Not a tripod.
Yeah, I have a selfie stick.
Higher a year from now and 5 years from now than they did earlier this summer.
And how does that affect spending?
You know, for people at the top of the income ladder, it doesn't make a lot of difference. The stock market's booming, so their portfolios are doing well. If they have to pay 50% more for a cup of coffee, they're not too worried. But for families who are just getting by, it's a different story.
It's traffic
So
today.
any price increase really
I don't only in the Philippines as a traffic.
It's worried that
What, babe?
low-income
I don't
customers
only in the Philippines as a traffic.
Oh no.
when they do go out. CEO Chris Kempczinski says the fast food chain has some work to do to get those customers back to the drive-thru.
Every country has traffic except for Singapore.
Yeah. He told me not.
Kempczinski says that's especially important when people are anxious not only about tariffs but also about a job market that suddenly looks a lot less vibrant than it did a few months ago.
And what is the latest on the job market?
Well, remember last week we got that report from the Labor Department showing weak job growth in July and little to no job growth in 2 previous months. That was so bad the president actually fired one of the government's top statisticians, claiming without evidence that the report had been rigged. Well, this week we got a private sector report on the services side of the economy that also points to a real slowdown in hiring. So if you're the Federal Reserve, now you've got this tricky situation because the weak job market suggests you should cut interest rates, but rising prices say not so fast. That's the essence of the stagflation dilemma. Fed officials have been going around the country holding listening sessions, and Rafael Bostic says it's pretty clear the public puts the priority on curbing inflation, not propping up the job market. Inflation is something that is on everyone's.
Support for WA News live stream comes from Business Roundtable, the association of more than 200 American CEOs working to promote a thriving workforce and create new career pathways in skilled trades and empower
Oh.
more at businessroundtable.org.
That stays in your head. I think it has a real impact on folks. One of the lessons from the 2024 election is that Americans really don't like inflation, even when it comes with a booming job market. Frustration with rising prices helped put Donald Trump back in the White House. That's a lesson the president ignores in his barrel as he pursues these higher tariffs.
And you're Scott Worsley, thanks so much. Trump administration has given an ultimatum to immigrants in the U.S.
Oh, it's-
legal status. Leave now, voluntarily, whether be detained and deported. Many immigrant families in the U.S. to grapple with difficult choices. And Sergio Martinez Beltran reports from Michigan. Painful decision made by one Kenyan father.
Samuel Kengetef pushes his 5-year-old daughter on the swings at this leafy community park in Lansing, Michigan. The blue and green playground is on top of a small hill. Nearby, his 13-year-old son is showing his dad a few things about fishing on the Grand River.
I don't know how to fish, so he teaches me how to fish.
His 11-year-old daughter is at the park too, playing with her phone and helping her sister navigate the playground.
Wake up here, this is how we spend our day.
Kangete is from Kenya and has been living in Michigan for more than 16 years. He first came here as a student. Up until May, he was working as an accountant for the state of Michigan. Before that, he did the same job for a local beer distributor. But in the last few months, his life has been upended.
So for me, especially for somebody like me who had a migration court in court, that affects me directly. So you can imagine the amount of fear that puts in me.
His immigration case involves a prior marriage that gave him conditional residency. But in 2014, immigration officials deemed that marriage from his wife, Latavia.
I think after months of going through that, it like took a toll on the marriage, the family.
She's now worried when or if the family will ever get back together. The kids are losing their dad. She is losing her husband.
I mean, it's scary. Essentially, I would.
Is that a bridge already?
To go from
Chesapeake Bay Bridge.
income in the home, where we're able to like piggyback and do the things together like we've always done. It's going to impact the entire family.
Canguete says it's one of the most difficult decisions he's ever made. But he wanted to live on his own terms and not in shackles on an airplane bound to the so-called alligator Alcatraz or a prison in El Salvador.
And that way, so at least I'm safe. And also, if my family need to reach me, at least they have a clear understanding of where I am, when they can reach me, and how they can reach me.
Canguete is one of thousands of migrants to heed President Trump's call to self-deport.
We're entering now to Chesapeake Bridge. Chesapeake Bay Bridge.
They get a free one-way plane ticket home and a $1,000 exit payment. But that number does not include people like Canguete, who are not using the app and instead living on their own. On a recent Thursday afternoon, Canguete paid one of his last visits to his former colleagues at the beer company that he had been distributing in Lansing, Michigan. Company president Dan Henry says he is very sad to see Canguete go.
Sam has always been a
Nice.
self-starter. Quick learner. Happy to have a job.
Henry says he understands Trump needs to undo what he says President Biden did at the border, but he worries it has gone too far.
We're sort of caught up in the moment of turning back the clock on what we just had by letting everybody in. Unfortunately, I think what we're going to do is we're going to lose an awful lot of good people in the process.
Good people, including Canguete, he says. Henry has called his local Republican congressman to intervene in Canguete's case. It has not worked. And Canguete says his decision is final.
I'll be hit by some hard, heavy emotions. I don't know if I'm ready for
Look at
this.
this, so beautiful.
If that's the sacrifice I have to pay for me to go see them in Kenya, for how long are you telling me that I can sit so I can safely come back? Then for me, I feel like that's a small sacrifice to me and I'm willing to pay.
He hopes this sacrifice pays off and that the U.S. will someday allow him to come back to his wife and 3 children. Sergio Martinez Beltran, NPR News, Lansing, Michigan.
Summer brings wildflower season to many mountain towns across the west, and meadows burst with color. But these flowers have more than just their looks. They also have a role to play in preventing wildfires. Phil Allen is professor of landscape management at Brigham Young University, who spent decades studying these flowers. He joins us now. Thanks so much for being with us.
Thank you, Scott. It's a pleasure.
What can wildflowers do to prevent wildfires?
Well, in the semi-arid regions of the western United States, wildfires are a huge problem. So the role that wildflowers play is that they are able to, when in an established native wildflower community, reduce the risk of extreme wildfires. They do that in a few ways. First, they are perennial plants, while the fires are caused by annual invasive weeds that are ready to burn by early June. The wildflowers and their associated grasses stay green until late summer. A lot of the wildflowers bloom in May and June, and then by August they've essentially disappeared. And so the fire season window is reduced, and the risk of a catastrophic wildfire is similarly reduced.
So, can
areas where it's most important are at the urban wildland interface. We have a lot of that. The Wasatch Front, where most of Utah's population is north-south, and it abuts the mountains. So the foothills are currently dominated by weedy annual grasses, including the most common plant in Utah, which is cheatgrass, a native of Eurasia. And so it's in areas like that where it has the greatest potential to reduce the wildfire risk.
So how feasible is this for communities?
Well, we've shown it to be very feasible on a volunteer-intensive local scale. There are a lot of weeds in the west, and a canyon that I'm very passionate about, located adjacent to...
This is a long bridge, right, my love?
4
It takes
miles. It's a 4-mile bridge.
It takes 5 minutes to finish.
It depends on how fast you're going. It's kind of slow.
Project is to develop the how to do it guide that can be replicated certainly around the Intermountain West, as far as Reno, throughout Idaho, and the lower elevation areas, Wyoming and Colorado. So I've had on a small scale some extreme success that leaves me very, very optimistic that if we want to bad enough, the volunteers will show up and they can make this happen on a much broader scale.
Professor Allen, may I ask you what drives you to be a professor of landscape management?
Well, I grew up outside, so my cousins and I, we just love nature. I remember kicking sagebrush and my first prickly pear cactus flower in bloom. And from that time I was hooked. I've spent the rest of my life outdoors, enjoying nature and becoming increasingly passionate about it, and helping the students I'm fortunate enough to teach acquire that same passion. It's just a wonderful place we live in out west, and we just enjoy it immensely. So, you know, we've got to conserve water. Wildflower meadows conserve water as well as reduce the risk of wildfires. But we still need beauty. We still need to figure out ways of saving water while having beautiful landscapes.
Phil Allen is a
So beautiful.
at University. Thank you so much for being with us.
You're certainly welcome, Scott. It's my pleasure.
We're almost the end.
Yeah, it's a beautiful day to cross the bridge.
Yeah. Wow.
And you're listening to Weekend Edition from NPR News. The word deadline is in a lot of the news these days. Tariff negotiations, ceasefire talks, budget deals, sports teams face trade deadlines. Of course, every day we face personal deadlines to complete tasks. On this show, we have deadlines for interviews and
We're
scripts,
in.
all
We're
three
in.
to make our deadline to be on the air live, 8 a.m. Eastern Time on Saturday. Where does the word deadline come from? Benjamin Dreyer is author of Dreyer's English and a longtime copy editor.
It's
Ben,
very
thanks so much
nice.
for being back with us.
Thank you for having me, Scott.
What's the history of the word deadline?
So the word seems to emerge during the American Civil War from the Confederate Andersonville military prison, where it was used to designate a line, either actually drawn or simply understood.
And now we are in the eastern shore.
If prisoners stepped
Yeah, Cat Island. We're on Cat
Cat
Island.
Island.
And a deadline comes from death.
Exactly. It's a literal line and it's literal death.
When did the word begin to take on a substantially different meaning, where it involved doing something on time but not punishable by death?
Well, as best I can tell, after that initial flurry of attention in the Civil War, the post-Civil War during trials, that
30
pertain to what
minutes
happened in
away from
Andersonville,
Monson.
it seems to
30
go from
30 minutes.
suddenly reemerges in the 1920s in journalism to denote the absolute last minute when copy can be sent to the printer. I wonder whether or not it just occurred independently to some journalists with a somewhat morbid sense of humor who may or may
See,
not
it's not
associate
easy as a
with
problem.
Civil War use.
I mean, I don't know about you, I don't think I've ever known a journalist with a sense of humor.
I heard that they're rare birds, but that they do exist.
Ben, when a word gets dragged through the news, does it begin to lose its meaning, or at least change its meaning?
You know, I think that there are certain words and phrases that suddenly just spring up out of nowhere, and everybody just keeps using them over and over and over again to the point of numbness and boredom.
I said it's not easy to be a
My
vlogger.
mind is however many decades ago it is now, when everything had to be the mother of all something or others.
That's what Saddam Hussein said, that if the United States were to encroach into Iraq, it would set off the mother of all battles.
Exactly. And then so everybody had to use it, and then everybody did use it, and then everybody got tired of hearing it, and then nobody ever uttered it again, which is, you know, that's the cycle of these sorts of things. But I think that just sort of plain vanilla words that suddenly become relevant.
This is NPR News.
For years, singer-songwriter Eden Anatolia has been performing as the persona Ethel Kane. Her new album is about a fictional high school boyfriend, but it draws on the reality of first love.
The feelings that you have for this person are going to change you. You're going to come out the other side and change. I want something that's not that sounds like that.
I'm Emily Kwong. That story on the next All Things Considered from NPR News.
Listen this evening on WAMU. The Apple Plus series Severance is the most nominated show at this year's Emmys. This Tuesday, executive producer Ben Stiller and actor John Turturro join Jen White and 1A, and we want your help. 1A wants to know what you think of it and share your wildest theories about the show's twisted reality. 1A's number is 855-236-1A. 1A. You can also send a message with our app, 1A Vox Pop. Join Jen, Ben, and John for a great conversation this Tuesday on 1A, only on WAMU 88.5.
Support for WAMU comes from our members and from University of Maryland Global Campus, offering bachelor's and master's programs in career-relevant fields like cybersecurity, business, or healthcare. Learn more at umgc.edu. Certified to operate by Chev. And from Comcast Business, working to provide an advanced network, cybersecurity solutions, and a trusted partnership to help our businesses. ComcastBusiness.com.
WAMU and Live Nation are offering the chance to win tickets to see Maxwell and Silent Serenade Ensemble on September 18th at the theater MGM National Harbor.
What bridge is
Details
it?
are at
This is the Kent Narrows Bridge.
/giveaways. 64 degrees in our nation's capital.
See, like when you
WAMU.
exit the bridge, you're not on the eastern shore yet. You're on an
Yeah.
island called Kent Island.
Cat Island.
Yeah, and then when you cross this bridge, now you're on the eastern shore.
Learn
Oh,
more at
yeah.
Biker.com. From BetterHelp, committed to making mental well-being a priority and offering support
Now
to
you're in the eastern shore.
with therapists available to communicate via
Where is Easton is located?
BetterHelp.com/public.
It's just
So-
From listeners like you who donate to this NPR station.
Where is it? The
It's
old.
just 30 minutes past the bridge.
NPR News, I'm Scott Simon. Christian Scott Thomas celebrated for roles in The English Patient, Gosford, America. Most recently, Slow Horses has directed and co-written a family comic drama
Just a
starring
big
marquee
thing.
names like her own. The premise at the heart is taken from her own life, given to three sisters, all of whose adults broke together. Her mother's wedding, her third wedding.
Mommy, tonight is your last night as a month. You're not going to change your name again. Of course I can say Jeff's name. Mrs. Jeffrey Lovejoy. It's an experience. I mean, really? Yes, I am
stars Scarlett Johansson, Sienna Miller, Ellen Beecham, and more. It is co-written with a promising young talent named John Biggleswade, who the director happens to be married. Kristen Scott Thomas and John Biggleswade join us now from New York. Thank you both very much for being with us.
Thank you.
Thank you. Kristen Scott Thomas, let me begin by asking you to tell us about these sisters, each accomplished in their own way and each reflecting a different side, perhaps, of their parents.
Well, the elder sister is played by Scarlett Johansson. Her name is Catherine Frost. She has a collection of memories of her father that she guards preciously and holds very dear to her heart and can't really escape from. She's also followed in her father's footsteps and has joined the Navy. The second sister is called Victoria, and she is a big movie star. And Victoria is the one perhaps most publicly having a difficult romantic life. And then the youngest sister is a girl who seems to have got everything right. She's got a serious job, she's a nurse, she's married, she has 2 perfect little girls. And then we meet them when they come home, as you mentioned, to witness their mother getting married for the 3rd time, but to a man who they feel is not quite up to scratch, because they remember their father and their stepfather as being these sort of demigods sent from above.
And if I may, that is drawn from your own life experience, in a sense, isn't it?
It is in a sense, in that the memories that we see Catherine Scarlett's character inhabit are my own memories from my own childhood, of my father, of finding out how my stepfather was missing and then killed, and various other memories.
And preferably probably need to explain both your father and stepfather.
My father was a pilot in the Navy, and he was killed when I
forward and imagine this completely sort of different story with the same themes underneath.
John Biggleswade, do you think the fact that you're a journalist coming in from the outside, as we do, might have helped the director of this film note things about the story?
You'd have to ask Kristen that, but basically, I think it'd be fair to say that I think if she was being nice, she would say me, a bit like you, was quite good on structure. There's no doubt in my mind that she was much better at dialogue. Just because Kristen would have repeated, that I would write something and then she'd say, nobody would ever say that. and I hear that repeatedly.
I found him very useful as well, just being a sort of mine of information. Yes, well, what an endorsement.
Well, it is an American, yes.
No, but it was great to be able to have somebody on hand who just sort of knew when the Bosnian War was at its peak and knew when so-and-so was doing this and so-and-so was doing that, because my history's all very vague and muddled.
This project, not unlike marriage, you get very instant feedback.
Thomas, you get, or I guess maybe gave yourself, a very moving speech. Your character is gathered with their daughters at the graves of the
I'm making another business.
departed husbands.
I brought you up to be women, not
This
just
is an
daughters.
investment.
I scrimped and saved and pushed so that you could build lives in a way that a young single mother with 3 little girls never could. Where did you get this idea that nobody is as good as your perfect fathers?
That's very nice, because she doesn't love her husbands any less, but she saw them clearly.
What's the
And I
Ocean
think she
City?
understands about children growing
Route
up
50,
and
the highway that we're on, it ends at
always a
Ocean
good thing
City.
when parents understand that. I think the speech was written.
We can go sometime if you want.
It was a very
Yeah,
sort of
Ocean
technical
City.
thing. We needed a kind of not finale, but we needed a moment which was very strong that united all the characters on the screen at the same time. And I was floundering somewhat, so I literally said to John, go away and write something profound and intelligent, and we'll have to put it into normal language later. So he did. That's what he did, and I think it's a wonderful scene, and it's a wonderful kind of rant, and it's amazing how many women and men react to this speech. I think it lands very well.
I think you might be the first couple I've interviewed who are both members of the Order of the British Empire.
But yes, it might be a
I think
first.
she's higher up. She's higher up than I am, Robert.
She's a dame.
She's a dame.
I'm a dame. Yeah.
I'm a
Yeah. I
commander.
love saying that in America. I'm a dame.
And, well, as we say, there is nothing like
A dame. Yeah.
There's that joke. So any rivalry on that at home with each other?
Not
Yes,
that I'm aware.
no, stream from my end. No, we got invited the other day to a state dinner with Macron, where it became very obvious that I was the plus one. So that was a slight return to form.
Christian Scott Thomas is directed and co-written with John Biggleswaite, the new film My Mother's Wedding. Thank you both.
Now take my hand and
Concentrate on your
see before the storm. We take
Yeah,
the gravel
I'm
road
so
that leads down to
concentrating
the
here,
cove.
but you know,
A crunch with
I have the
every
eyes
step.
on you.
Island Storm was written by Brian Floga. A couple of years ago, it was on an island off the coast of Maine in a storm.
I sort of drove in,
Baby, we forgot to clip my nail.
Yeah, I
and then the first thing
know.
I
I'll
did
do it,
when
I'll do it.
got onto the island was walk
Sorry.
from the cabin where I was staying down to the cove, just because there was an electric charge in the air as the storm was coming in, and there was something hypnotic and powerful, just the sensory feeling of the storm coming, the wind, the waves, all these elemental forces unloading themselves on the island.
The memory of that storm stayed with him and inspired.
We see the waves coming, pushed from the sea, to smash on the rocks and explode into spray. It flies in the air and falls on our faces. We stand there just to feel it all. Wind, stone, wave, water. And then we ask, is this enough, or do we try for more? You pull on me, I pull on you, and we decide to go on.
Past boarded up houses, past the neighbors, heading home through the rain in an empty town. Siblings go on.
It's a little bit about this urge that we all have sometimes in life as adults and as kids to touch the hot stove. I think the feeling is of an island where kids are free to go off on their own, and they do keep going, even though I think they have it in their heads that maybe they shouldn't.
Brian Floga is a Caldecott medal-winning illustrator, but he did not illustrate Island Storm. For our series Picture This, he explains why he decided to hand over the sketchbook.
One of the things that I think usually happens when you write and illustrate your own stories is as you're writing, you're also kind of toggling from the text to the visuals, and you start to see, either to sketch on paper or see in your mind's eye the drawings. And the funny thing that was happening for me with this story was that the drawings I was seeing myself make just didn't quite feel like the drawings that I thought the story wanted. That was sort of new for me, and I didn't really know what to do about it.
My name is Sydney Smith, and I'm an author and illustrator of picture books.
Sydney came by the studio where I work to say hi and show us his new book and make us all feel bad about our own work.
Inspired.
And it just flashed through my head that I would love to see what Sydney would do with the story that I was struggling with.
You didn't jump into, do you want to illustrate this? You were saying, how would you take a look at this and tell me what you think? And immediately I thought there's something really magical to the story, to the writing. It really appealed to the type of person I've always been, the type of kid I was. I would always go out into the weather and the storms. In Nova Scotia, we have a lot of it. I think the summer storm is just, you know, you get the best of all weather. You have the sunniness and the clear skies beforehand, and then there's always these dramatic clouds.
The summer storm.
Support for WAMU's live stream comes from Business Roundtable, the association of more than 200 American CEOs working to promote a thriving workforce and create new career pathways in skilled trades that power America. More at businessroundtable.org.
There is a sort of linear panels describing illustrations, which means it goes right off the page to really kind of allow you to be really immersed into the image. Those are best for communicating an emotion or a feeling or sensation, or I hope my goal is that the reader really becomes transported into the book. And even a few of the spreads, you feel like you're looking through the eyes of the character. You're feeling the salt spray of the waves, the presence of these giant dark rain clouds.
And Sydney does a great job of alternating those different ways of presenting the images on the page. So you might have a few pages with the long sort of tapestry-like strip images, then you get used to seeing that, you turn the page and you get a big full page image that runs off the edge of the margins of the books with this, where the storm really breaks, or a sense of urgency or really heightened emotion is presented. Those big moments work even better for following sort of smaller moments.
Working on the book was a chance to kind of explore experimental and impressionistic mark making and using paint in ways that was almost like playing, trying to get the feeling across of being in the weather. That feeling of genuine fear that you get when you're in the presence of something so formidable.
It's kind of a cliche to say about someone's work that, oh, I don't know how they do that, but I honestly don't know how you do some of the pictures in this book. There's a scene where the storm really breaks wide open, and the page is this dark kind of explosion of pigment with all of these patterns running through it. And I mean this in the most literal sense possible. I don't know how you did that.
I don't know either, and the actual ingredients I can't even remember. I have a very messy studio with paints of all kinds just strewn about, and I'll mix them around, and it's a little bit like alchemy. You introduce the different elements together and you watch it all kind of magically have a mind of its own.
When you're author and illustrator, I think one of the things you usually do is kind of try to lock everything down. You're in control of all the elements, and so you try really hard to get them all working together. And one of the great things about making this book for me was letting go of a great deal of that control.
Part of the job of the illustrator is to inject something more. I mean, that's what I enjoy doing. It is about the awesomeness of nature, discovering your own limitations. But the most important part for me when I was reading it was about the relationship between these siblings, that they are there for each other and that they are safe because of each other.
To a certain degree, it's a book about risk and even about risk taking, but in the end, it's a book about that feeling of safety, which it's a funny line to walk, because we don't want kids going out before storms.
The phrase, do we try for more? Should we go on? Should we go back? I think about childhood a lot in the sense that it's a lot of discovering the line by crossing it. And so I like to think that this book acknowledges this is what childhood is about, going too far, going back, and discovering it on your own. You're allowed that freedom.
Illustrator Sydney Smith and author Brian Floker talking about their children's book, Island Storm. For more conversations like this, you can head to npr.org/picturethis. Our series Picture This is produced by Samantha Ballaba. And this is Weekend Edition from NPR News. I'm Scott Simon.
Support for NPR comes from the station and from the NPR Wine Club, now shipping to additional states. Whether purchasing a few wines or joining the wine club, every purchase supports NPR. Available to adults 21 or older. NPRWineClub.org. From the Wallace Foundation, an independent, nonpartisan research foundation,
about another
with
20
grantees and
minutes.
partners in the arts, school leadership, and youth development. More at WallaceFoundation.org. And from the listeners who support this NPR station.
This NPR station, your NPR station, WAMU. I'm Natalie Erv-Lifker. Thank you for spending your morning with me. It is Saturday, August 9th, Weekend Edition.
Where are you smiling? You're thinking you're little.
I'm Anna Matheson. Next time on
I'm
Type
thinking,
Radio.
oh, we're close now. I can get back to my little.
Intense, passionate vocals from Inlaw, jazz,
Yay.
neo soul from Erica Badu. Plus,
You're gonna get back in your kalakuan.
That's all next time on Tiny Desk Radio from NPR Listen.
Listen and dance.
Next time I need the tripod, selfie stick.
Support for WAMU comes from our members and from the Good Feet store. Good Feet arch supports are designed to relieve plantar fasciitis pain with no shots, no surgery, and no medication. Test walk and fittings are available today at goodfeet.com. And from Wolf Trap, presenting Mary Chapin Carpenter live in concert on Saturday, August 16th with Brandy Clark. Tickets for Mary Chapin Carpenter live
WAMU Washington, your listener-supported NPR news station from American University.
What's that, sweet corn?
HD at 88.5 on your smart speaker.
Yeah,
and
that was
at
corn. I think this is soybean.
WAMU.org. It's 9 o'clock.
They used to plant tobacco, but I mean, I don't think it's popular anymore.
This is Weekend Edition.
It's a farm of
What's going on in this hour?
corn.
What are Putin's
And
aims?
this
This is
one,
soybean.
soybean.
And Moshe
I
The
think.
right side.
Yeah, I think it's soybean.
The left side,
The left side's corn.
corn.
Their image looks as if we are looking at
Nice.
Jews who were released from
Yeah.
the concentration camps, Holocaust. We imagine our own loved ones looking the same, suffering the same.
Then Genevieve Purvis on her novel about 5 sisters in a small English village accused of turning themselves into hounds. At the 10th
You have enough
anniversary of
storage
Hamilton,
space, baby?
Yeah.
we will not throw away our shop. No.
This is a big storage, 528.
Saturday, August
Oh no, it's 1 terabyte.
Really?
Yeah.
Live from
That's the phone that I
NPR
bought you, right?
Yeah.
Washington, I'm Giles
Wow.
Snyder. President Trump says a ceasefire deal in Ukraine is close. He has announced on social media that he will meet with Russian leader Vladimir Putin in Alaska
That's why I get
next
it.
week.
It's
And
good
that
to
deal
buy
would
phone in the
involve an exchange
Philippines.
of territory. Ukrainian
Yeah,
President
and it was only
Volodymyr
$500,
Zelensky is warning
I
against
remember.
reaching
Yeah.
any peace deal that
Less than
excludes
$500.
Ukraine, and he has ruled out
Yeah.
giving up any land to Russia.
But it's a
Justice
good
Department is escalating
storage
efforts to
already.
investigate people President Trump considers his political enemies, in this case 2 prominent Democrats, New York Attorney General Letitia James and California Senator Adam Schiff. Here's NPR's Kerry Johnson.
Fox broke the news that Ed Martin had been named as a special prosecutor to help conduct investigations of alleged mortgage fraud by Tish James, and separately by California Democratic Senator Adam Schiff. He played a
I'm
prominent
just
role
like
in the
driving
impeachment of
to.
Donald Trump during his first term. A source who was not authorized to speak publicly confirmed that report to NPR.
Senator Schiff has hired former Manhattan federal prosecutor Preet Bharara, who calls the fraud allegations false, stale, and debunked. President Trump is expressing anger and alarm at the possibility that many of his tariffs
You know what, the
could be
Samsung
overturned
brand,
in
it's
court. One of
expensive.
the tariffs that could be repealed are the
Because you
dozens of
pay only
country-by-country
like,
tariffs
the
that went
brand.
into effect this week.
No, but they are good phones.
Yeah, they're quality phone, not
Apple phones are.
unlike this one,
The Trump administration immediately
it's
appealed,
cheaper,
and the appeals
but
court has heard arguments in that case.
it's
Trump
a
posted on social media that if the court
a
rules
good
against his tariffs, quote, it would be
storage, a big storage.
Yeah, Apple phones are expensive.
Yeah. Because you pay only the brand, the name brand, the brand name. But I like using Android phone than the iPhone.
Yeah.
This is a friendly user, unlike an iPhone.
iPhone's
You have to know how to use
iPhone's
it.
easy.
Yeah, I know.
Today's. Is it
Yes.
Oh, it's only the 9th. Lisa's birthday is on Monday,
Yeah.
August 11th.
How does she know? 43?
45. She's 10 years younger than I am.
like this how to discipline her children. This is the soybean again.
Yeah.
The farm of soybean. Corn. It's itchy.
Yeah. It's dry skin.
Yeah. Don't mind it. This is a golf club.
Yeah. We're close now.
Yeah.
Yeah, get back to my kalokohan. His son.
Bastos.
What's Ruby Tuesday? I Ruby Tuesday.
It's like a Chili's.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
We almost here.
Videos angry hostage families. Moshe Lavi understands that his brother.
Their image looks as if we're looking at the Jews who were released from the concentration camps.
Snap. What?
I'm here right now. This is my room for a week. I'm gonna stay here, in mom's house for a week. Yeah. That's my bed for a week. This is the other room. And I'm going downstairs. Ma, this is our mama. This is our nanay, vlogging. Kamusta?
Mabuti, ikaw, kamusta?
Okay lang po.
You look good.
Thanks, ma. Malaki chan.
It's nice. I like it.
Oh,
Filipino
thanks,
ba yan?
ma. Opo.
Ang ganda. Maganda ng kulay.
Thanks po.
I like the color.
She liked my outfit.
What is that?
Vlogging.